everyone. I'm your astrologer, Brittany, with horoscope.com. Here are 3 things you need to know in order to make today, Sunday, September 21st, 2025, a success. Now, let's go ahead and let's hop right into it. In order to get started, what I want to look at first is going to be here, where Venus is in the sign of Virgo, which it recently entered, making it square over to Uranus and Gemini, number 1. Now, this alignment is a bit of a challenge because Venus is in Virgo, a sign it does not like to be in and therefore does not function that well in. It's also a square, which is a hard aspect to Uranus, an outer planet, which can be more difficult than some of the others, especially by hard aspect. So this to me is a challenge. What is this? Well, Uranus, I'll start there, is about the sudden and the unexpected. This to me feels more like an idea with it in Gemini, an air sign, and connecting with Virgo, which is a Mercury ruled sign. So we got both the Mercury ruled signs here. An idea, a thought, a conversation, or maybe even some sort of news that may be going on that is coming up. I think that the idea, the unexpected thing is meant to kind of change your life. I think ideally for the better, I need to note, but it could be startling. It could be very startling because that sometimes is the nature of Uranus, and uncomfortable with it being a square and triggering. It could also involve relationships and money with Venus as well being involved too. That can be very difficult. Not only that, but I need to note with Venus here in Virgo, Venus does not like to be in Virgo because Venus is a planet of ease and kind of harmony and peace. And Virgo is a lot about work. It's a lot about work. It's a lot about the mind, thinking things through. And I'm going to use negative because Venus doesn't like to be here, worry. It's about being too harsh, too critical. It's about overworking, maybe even doing too much. It's about being too pragmatic and too logical as well, and ignoring the other parts of life like emotion and intuition. Two, that it can be triggering us back into, throwing us back into those things as a way to handle these challenging or triggering unexpected events that are coming up, that are overwhelming us, that can be hard. So that's the first thing that I want to say today, is that there's more unexpected thoughts, news, ideas coming up compared to the past few days, that might have to do with relationships and money, that could be really triggering and startling for us, and may throw us back into unhelpful habits, such as over controlling our situation, overworking, overdoing it, or worrying about things, or being too pragmatic, logical, and in the head, instead of, say, trusting the process, emotions, and intuition, which can make us very frustrated and agitated today and all over the place. That then leads me now to the second thing I want to talk about today, which is going to be where the sun and the moon are, because today we've got a new moon in the sign of Virgo, which I need to note is also an eclipse. And it's an eclipse because it's close to the nodal axis. And when you get a new moon or a full moon near the nodal axis, it is an eclipse, right? As you can see it here in the chart. So it's a new moon and solar eclipse in Virgo. This to me is a challenging one, a bit difficult. This to me is difficult because it is on the south node. The south node to me is more difficult than the north node, because the south node tends to indicate things that we're more comfortable in doing, we're more familiar with doing, but that if we continue to do are going to hold us back, and that we need to let go of. And it's hard to let go of things that are comfortable to us and that we've been doing for a while. So it's difficult because of that. And also too, because look at it, this eclipse is at 29 degrees, and the last degree of a sign is considered the anaretic degree of a sign. It's considered difficult. It's also opposite Saturn, although I'm not going to talk too much about that now. So this to me is a difficult one. What is the difficulty that's going on? Well, remember, the south node, which is what makes an eclipse, is here in Virgo, and it's about letting things go. And what is Virgo about? It's what we talked about with Venus and Virgo in that last alignment. It's about overthinking, worrying too much, over controlling the situation, over planning the situation. It's also, with it being a Mercury ruled sign, about being too logical and pragmatic and ignoring emotions, intuition, all that other stuff that might be happening as well. So it's that we really need to let go of, or if not let go of, then sometimes the south node can indicate adjust, to do that in a healthier way that's more balanced, where we're not overdoing the logic and the pragmatism and the control, and are balancing it with other things, like, say, where the north node is in Pisces and Saturn, more flow and trust in the timing and the universe and intuition and emotion. So we really need to do that and to master that, because the 29th degree, another thought, is a degree of mastery, is to really master that so that we don't keep falling back into this. Because if you've been watching my horoscopes on here for the past month or so, we keep falling back into overwork, overthinking, overplanning. In the 29th degree of this eclipse is saying you really got to stop this more permanently. You got to stop falling back into this pragmatism, this logic, this over controlling, and you got to adjust that or let it go. And in a real way that's more sustainable now, so that you don't keep this falling backwards as much as you were. Okay. So I think that, and that's hard. I need to know it's hard to let things go. This can also bring up more frustration. Okay. More agitation, that can happen with you, with others, that can feel hard. So that's the second thing I want to say today, is that, more unexpected news, thoughts, insights are coming up today, especially as it pertains to relationships and money, which are really triggering us and uncomfortable. And instead of us trusting and going with the flow and just believing that everything's going to work out and honoring our intuition, we're not doing that. We're getting stuck in worry. We're getting stuck in doubt. We're getting stuck in over controlling and over planning the situation and being too logical and pragmatic and not focusing on intuition and the other parts of life. That's making us really frustrated and really upset and agitated that we need to let go of, that we're having a hard time letting go of. We're having a hard time letting go of those traits of over control and logic that is spiraling us downwards today. That then leads me now to the third and the last thing that I want to talk about today, which is going to be where Mars is here in the sign of Libra. I want to talk about Mars in the sign of Libra because it's at the last degree of Libra today before it enters the sign of Scorpio tomorrow. So let's talk about this, number 3. Now, this to me is also difficult for today, although it's going to get much better tomorrow when Mars change signs. This is difficult because Mars does not like to be in the sign of Libra, right? And we've got Venus today in Virgo, a sign it does not like being in, making an aspect. And we've got Mars in Libra, a sign it also doesn't like to be in. So we've got 2 planets and signs that they do not like to be in, which is difficult. Okay. So that's hard. In addition to that, Mars is at the last degree of a sign, the 29th degree, called the anaretic degree, which is also what the new moon in Virgo is doing, which is also hard as well. So this is a difficult thing. What is the difficult thing about that? Well, Mars is about action. And the reason why it doesn't like to be in Libra is because it finds action hard to do. Or if it is acting, it's not acting in an effective way. It's just feeling like nothing is working. So do you see where we're going today? Unexpected things are coming up. We're worrying, we're stressing. We're over controlling, being too logical instead of just trusting the process and honoring our intuition. And it's getting real frustrating, real chaotic, real stuck today, a real mess, not knowing what to do. Nothing's working. Everything we try just doesn't come together. Okay. That can feel very, very difficult, maybe even bring up some rage and anger with the Mars that maybe we don't quite know how to express with it being in Libra. That is a challenge. Okay. But even though this is a challenge, I do want to, maybe I'll switch it now to give you the advice, because I think there is some advice that's going on here. I think there's advice is twofold. For one, planets at the last degree of a sign are a lot about mastering things, so that we can start over in the next sign. And not only that, but the next sign of Scorpio, Mars actually really likes to be in. So tomorrow Mars is going to be in a place that it loves. A place, I don't know, maybe loves is too strong of a word, but a sign that it does enjoy. I think that there's a hard thing today that we need to master that will help us tomorrow if we can do it. What is it that we might need to master? Well, Mars is in Libra. Libra is a lot about balance. It's a lot about calm. It's a lot about inner peace and harmony. Maybe even too, Libra can be about gathering more information or trying to negotiate with relationships, being a relationship sign. And I think that because nothing is working today, as you can see, it's a big mess today. A lot of chaos, a lot of frustration. Everything we do isn't working, just crazy. I think that the advice is to slow down. Stop trying to make things work. Stop trying to fit circles into squares. If things aren't going to plan, slow down, calm down, rebalance your emotions to get them back to a calm space so that you're not acting out of trauma and triggers and craziness, and then reassess, gather more information about your situation, have more conversations with other people about what might actually be happening so that you've got a full assessment of it, and try to negotiate if there are relationships involved, which I think there might be, about what you can do and how you can approach those things in a better way, because that might help you tomorrow to feel a little bit more in control of the situation as well. So I think that's the third and the last thing that I'll say there, which I need to note is coupled with the advice from the Virgo solar eclipse, which is you got to stop being too logical and over controlling things as well. And that's it, because that's it. And I already kind of tied the advice in with both of those points. I'm just going to repeat that one last time now without the jargon. So let me do that. What I think is going on today is number one, we are getting some sudden and unexpected news, thoughts, insight, information on top of some unexpected insights we already got in the days prior that could pertain to relationships and money that are just especially startling, triggering, or overwhelming today. And instead of us going with the flow and trusting in the process and that we're going to be okay and trusting the divine and honoring our emotions and intuitions, we're doing the opposite. And we are over controlling the situation and being too logical and pragmatic about it and worrying about it and stressing about it and being too detailed and overworking and maybe even too harsh and too critical with ourselves and others, which is making us even more frustrated, even more stuck, and not know what to do, or if we are doing things, to make it feel like it's just a comedy of errors, that nothing's working at all, that nothing we try in any which way is working, which can then lead to even anger on top of the chaos and the frustration and the confusion and all of that, which can be very, very hard. And the way to handle this today is not to continue buckling down on more logic and pragmatism and control over a situation, because that's going to take you further and further away from where you need to be. The way to handle today is to stop this chaos that's going on and to rebalance your emotions and calm yourself and calm your situation down to get it to more of a balanced level, then to gather more information about your situation, ask more questions about what's happening and why, and then to try to negotiate with yourself or the people that are involved to make it better. Because if you can do that, I think it's going to help you tomorrow. I think it's going to help you tomorrow to handle these things more effectively, to let go of the logic and the over controlling of the situation, and to let things flow more easily and naturally in the way that they need to improve your situation. So that's your daily planetary forecast for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you tomorrow.